to the First Off in My Opinion podcast.
You know how we do.
Tom Swoop.
Turn this up.
All right, welcome back. This is First Off in My Opinion. I'm Tom Swoop. I have the lovely Mindy in the building today.
Hi.
Mindy, you are so opinionated on social media about your relationship stances and different things of that nature. Would you like to elaborate for the people?
You think I'm opinionated?
Yes, very much so.
I just think just kind of direct. Just direct about things.
Okay, you have you've been married.
Mm-hmm.
You're dating. You have adult children.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the hurdles that you find right now just in dating?
I think for me, I was out of the game for so long, 25 years between two relationships, that it's just a different world. It's just a whole different scene. So
What do you desire, though?
what do I desire?
Yeah.
I'm a wife.
Uh-huh.
So that's what I desire. I desire a husband.
So are you not meeting guys that meet that? Or are you meeting guys who don't want that from you?
I'm honestly not. I'm just not dating.
So how, I hear a lot of women say that I want to be a wife or I feel like I'm a wife, but you refuse to participate in the process.
I'm just taking a break. After as long as I spent in relationships, I just decided to take a break.
But that break can turn into years, decades.
Yeah.
Now I've seen it happen.
It can, but from what I see and from all the people I know in and out of relationships, dating, etc., it's just like I came up 90s and the whole 90s love affair is dead today.
It's not. People are getting married. People are in beautiful relationships. They're out there.
It's rare though.
It's not.
It's rare.
It's not. If the marriage rate is 50% still, that means there's 50% sexual relationships out there.
It could be.
So
It's not really what I see. I mean, people are together. Don't get me wrong. People spend long periods of time in a relationship. My last was 15 years. It didn't lead to marriage. So people, get together. People get their person. But then people do a whole lot of things outside of their person too. So
elaborate on that.
Main chick, side chick.
Have you ever been either?
No.
Now, so I do feel like when people do find a person, they fall back from the public eye because they be like, you know what, we ain't got to do that no more. Mm-hmm. And so it does make it seem like there's less and less relationships. I just think that people who are happy don't really care about everybody else. Mm-hmm. So I say that to say, when you look at the field of eligible bachelors, men, what are you even looking for?
That's the problem. So I'll be honest in that I haven't put that all out there. I just see and identify what I don't want, not necessarily what I do want.
That's a trauma response.
Maybe I'm traumatized. Aren't we all?
I mean, everybody got some form of PST. What is it? PSD?
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to relationships, because it's things that have happened in your past that you don't want to repeat.
Right.
But you can't let that shape what you really trying to do, if that's what you really trying to do.
I just feel like, and this is cliche, but what's meant for me is meant for me, and I don't think I got to do a lot to go find it or go get it.
That makes no sense whatsoever. And I hear women say that all the time, because the reason I say
it's an easy response though.
It is, but it's like, you're telling me that you want this ultimate prize of a relationship, a husband, but you just gonna let it happen. You're not gonna really put forth intentional effort in every other thing that we want to, like, you're a successful businesswoman. Mm-hmm. So in every other field, you put forth all this effort to get it. But in this one, you just go, I'm gonna sit back and let it come to me.
I'm just a little tired. Maybe I'll get rejuvenated about it and have a little bit more drive for it, but it's truly not. It's just not as high on my list of priorities as other things.
Tired.
Yeah.
That is a repetitive thing. Mm-hmm. Women are tired. Women are tired. Women are tired.
We are.
But I just feel like you can't, this thing is so important this thing that you want is so important. I don't think it's time to be tired. And I see a lot of people say, well, I'm just going to take a break. I'm going to fall back. I'm going to do me for a while. I'm going to do all these things. And the only thing that happens is days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, months turn into years. And now you that sexy lady sitting on the front pew with the thing over your knees. And you like, Jesus going to bring them in there one day. And not saying that that's what, you're going to do or not. But it's just I've seen in my adult life so many great women put themselves on the bench.
Do you perceive me as somebody on the bench?
I mean, according to your own statements, you're on the bench.
Prior to these couple of minutes, do you perceive me as a woman on a bench? I'm active. I have a social life. I'm out.
You are. And what I would say is, I feel like you limit yourself with your reach. And I feel like a lot of people do it. Like if it doesn't happen 25 minutes from their house, it's more so like it's not happening. I feel like we have to get outside of our immediate circles to find new people. Mm-hmm. Because I feel if we just keep dealing with the same people within the 30-minute radius of our home, we're going to keep getting the same results, because it's like basically everybody know everybody, you know what I'm saying? Like you got to get outside. And
grass is smaller, yes. Right.
Yeah, you got to get outside of your immediate surroundings to actually engage with people and get different responses. Mm-hmm. So that's your tip for the week.
Okay. I'll take it.
So let me ask you this question. We know what you're, like you said, things you don't want in a relationship. What are, I guess, some things you want that aren't cliche?
Collaboration and teamwork.
That's cliche.
No, it's not.
Everybody wants that.
I don't think it's cliche. It's very important. Like nobody wants to feel like, I think that people are in relationships but hold on to so much independence from the relationship that they don't collaborate and that they don't operate as a team.
I personally feel like relationship dynamics work for each individual relationship. Sometimes they could be 70-30, 60-40, whatever the percentage is, and how you shift it and how y'all make it work is just how y'all make it work. I think, like when you say collaboration, like I guess I need an example.
Collaboration in business, collaboration in how do you run your home.
But then isn't that a given though? Like you live together, you're in a relationship, that it has to be collaboration.
To an extent, but everybody doesn't approach it that way. And then depending on the relationship that you're in, especially long-term relationships, you find sometimes over time that people don't even put that same amount of effort into the relationship because they're in the same home.
Could you be the primary breadwinner in a relationship and be fine with that?
It would depend on what was on the other side. That's not a deal breaker for me that I can't be that, because I could, but what am I getting on the other end of that from that person? What value are they adding outside of financial?
I mean, you determined that you would be in a relationship with them, so I'm just saying, could you be the person who makes the money and takes care of the household finances, and this other person, a house husband? Yeah. You would be fine with that?
A house husband that did what?
What does he have to do?
I mean, he can't just be and exist. My children are grown, so I don't have small children.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, what does he need to do? He's
going to have to make some money. Breadwinner as in, maybe bringing more income into the household. I'm okay with that, but he got to have his own drive and his own motion. He got to do something. What is a house husband going to do at our age? There's no children in the home. What are you going to do?
Just maintain the house.
No, I don't want that. Mm-mm.
Why not?
I don't want that.
Women do it all the time.
And as a woman, I do it and I enjoy doing that. I don't want that in a man necessarily. He can help, but exclusively, nah.
You would lose respect for him?
It's not even about respect. That's just not even a type of man I would be drawn to or attracted to. Because what did you do today? You swept the floor and washed some dishes and
that sounds pretty sexist. Because
44.
women, I'm just saying, women do this every day.
I'm 44.
So you saying if I was a man and I came home and I looked at my woman, what you do today? What you swept the floor? You wash the dish? That would sound crazy, right?
I don't know. Maybe not. It depends. Do she make any money? Do y'all have children at home? Where's her ambition? Is that her idea of a good life? Is that, that how you see your dating?
Okay. Let's back up. Ambition so I've had this argument on this show before.
I'm not arguing.
We're not arguing. We're having a casual debate.
Mm-hmm.
When women like yourself, successful business women, feel like they need some form of a successful business mate, when actually they don't.
Successful in my realm, no, it's different. But I don't want to, you could fix some stuff at the house.
Ain't nothing broke. Sometimes maintaining the house is just as important.
I don't know.
So you can't, and that's what I'm saying. Like, nobody can tell me my grandmother didn't have value to my grandfather, because that's what you basically saying. You like looking at this situation and you like, no. But that's what the balance that works is the balance that works. That's what I say. I think popular culture has put in the minds of our successful women that they can't have a balance like that, because
I just don't know if I would be attracted to that. I don't know how that would make me view this man, because I don't need a caretaker in that way. Like, I don't need somebody to wash the clothes, or because I do that anyway, regardless of what I do for business and work and everything. I enjoy, you said sexist and all of that, but I enjoy traditional roles to an extent. Like I said, I'm 44.
So let's just say,
and a house husband ain't gonna do it better than me, no way. So don't even try.
Listen, I know I cook better than you.
Okay, we got a cook.
We'll lose. But listen, so all right, let's back up just a little bit more, because we going to go down the street.
Okay, let's go. What street?
So we on the street of, if the roles were reversed, and let's just say I made $500,000 a year, and I'm like, babe, you don't have to work, just take care of the crib or whatever. You be fine with that, right?
I would try it. I can't say that I would be fine with it, because my mind just doesn't work that way. Like,
have a little hobby, babe. You know what I'm saying? Go to your little yoga, do whatever you got to do. But we could have a successful relationship, and nobody would frown or look or question it. Mm-hmm. But the dime we spend on, if it's the roles are reversed, only in our community is this a problem.
So that's a blanket, like, that question. It would depend on the person. Like, don't get me wrong. If it's mad chemistry, if I find him very desirable, like, there would have to be compensating factors. Like, there would have to be something about him that I liked enough to where,
I guess that's the fact that he has to have that is the problem, because it's like, you telling me he gotta be some extraordinary person, and this is, so it's like, you telling me, like, if the roles were reversed, and like with men, like, I don't be like, okay, if I get a woman who's my, who takes care of my house, she also have to learn how to fly a plane. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not asking her to do anything.
Terrible analogy. Terrible.
No, but you're asking this man to not only, be himself.
What am I asking?
You're asking him to be himself, who you've already decided to be in a relationship with, mm-hmm. but now he has that special quality simply because he doesn't work.
We have to do something. You got to do something. It's just, you got to do something. Like, even with what you said, if I was in that position, I would try it. I would, be home and everything, but I'm too capable. I have too many different gifts and talents that's just not going to be it. I'm going to do something. I'm going to do something.
Why do you require that of another person? That's what I'm saying.
Maybe because I'm that way. I mean, it's purpose, it's ambition, is utilizing your talents and skills.
What is your type?
I don't know. I have a type.
You have a type. Everybody has a type.
What do you think my type is? I don't have a type. I don't generally.
You know what you don't like?
I do, but I still don't know what my type is. There's an ideal, like, but it's physical.
Go ahead.
It's going to be stereotypical.
Okay.
Like, I want somebody I have to look up to, maybe.
Short niggas always lose.
But it's something.
They always lose. They always lose. They're like, somebody watching this show right now, like,
because you don't want to feel like big. And sometimes
I guess my problem always is gonna come back to the eligible field of successful black males that are ready and willing, but they just don't measure up to y'all standards.
It's not even. I dated a short guy.
You almost make it seem like he had like a third eye.
I didn't.
You like,
I sure, we're just like the same height. Pretty much the same height.
I dated a short guy.
I'm just saying, some people will make you step outside of a preference or what you're used to or what you've had before. But it's something about that person that does that. You have to be drawn to them in some way. And one thing that's just a undeniable, you have it or you don't, is chemistry. If you just don't have chemistry with a person, if you're just not drawn to them, like, that can't be fixed. You have to have that.
So, have you ever seen that video with Tora Roberts about chemistry?
No.
I'm gonna send it to you. And he just talks about, like, how sometimes chemistry leads us down the wrong street as well with a person. Like somebody who really is just supposed to be your friend, but since you have this chemistry, you're like, oh, let me turn this friendship into a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I think collaboration, like using your word, is actually more feasible in a relationship. Can me and this person work together? Mm-hmm. Can we build together? I feel like some of the conversations and things that we look for in our significant other is actually things we should be looking for, our coworkers, our friends, our family, stuff like that. We're trying to get too many things out of one person. So yep. Chemistry is I put like this, a slippery slope to make that, so big. And I've seen, like, even visuals. I know women who I've interviewed before, they'd be like, well, a guy has to look like this. I have to be attracted to him. Mm-hmm. Attraction will come.
Because you can be attracted to different things. It might not even be a physical attraction. Mm-hmm. It could be other things. It could be, the way a person caters to you or the way they make you feel. It's just different things that you can come to appreciate. This beyond, just that. But I mean,
would you date an ugly man?
Yeah, I like ugly niggas. Really, like I'm serious. Like I mean, looking back, I don't got no like lookers all in my past. They cool,
So you've dated an ugly man?
I mean, maybe not super fine or nothing like that. I don't see a guy. He got to be like super fine.
Do you look for an ugly man?
No.
So you don't look at the dude and be like, I kind of like him a little ugly.
No, but I have found where I might see somebody and like, I kind of like him, but he really ain't that cute. But it doesn't change. You like who you like. Be drawn to for different reasons. And there have been, somebody that's just like,
Do you stay away from attractive men?
No.
Yeah, I'm not gonna blow my own horn. I don't, I feel like I look how I look, but I've literally been told like I would not date you at all.
Why?
Like, you're way too handsome. I don't want a man that other women are looking at.
Oh, that's crazy.
So
that's crazy.
It's real though. I mean, it's happened to me multiple times.
No, I definitely don't look. Now, I don't want a man that I feel is so superficial that he's more. What is it? A metrosexual?
I wouldn't even say metrosexual. I would say just, is he girly? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So the flip side of that also is, like I've also been accused of not caring about women because I'm not insecure about like being with a beautiful woman. Like I'll buy a chick I'm dealing with like a sexy outfit and be like, where did I go with your girls? I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't feel like as a man, if I'm worried about my girl wearing an outfit that's gonna make her be in a situation where she'll leave me, she wasn't my girl.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't know. And then I just like my woman to look good.
As you should.
So I guess.
So no, I don't look for an ugly man, and I don't have a problem with a fine man.
What do you find yourself running into more, like as you date and just be out in the streets?
I don't just be out in the streets. You just, can't say it that way.
When you doing your.
What do I seem to attract? Is that what you mean? What do I seem to attract? As far as what? I don't know.
Looks. We on looks right now.
They usually a little. They usually like sixes, maybe sixes. Seven.
That's borderline ugly. What about intelligence? Like, do you find a lot of guys are smart or what?
No. That
was depressing. you look demoralized and depressed. You're like, no.
And that's the hard part. So I have a good sense of humor. So, in a lot of those situations, that's kind of just how I get through is we gonna joke, we gonna have a good time, we gonna, talk a lot of, mess. But on the intellect side, like I really, I don't think I've ever come across somebody that I felt like he's a really smart man.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Let's pause real quick. So, you got to draw children.
Yes.
Boys, girls?
My 3 youngest are boys and my oldest is a girl.
When raising a boy, I remember we talked about this previously, about like that age frame from like 11 to 14, 15 years old. When they go through that period of, I'm going to kill this little motherfucker. How is that as a single mom?
Honestly, my oldest, my daughter, and my youngest son gave me the most trouble in that way. My middle 2 were easy, very low maintenance kids. So with my youngest son, it was extremely difficult. He actually went and stayed with his father for a time because I just needed a break. I literally just needed a break because, physically, I whooped my kids. I grew up that way. So I have the views that I have on it. But you get to a point where it's not effective, and the older, bigger they get, I'm not going to just beat the nigger or just be like we're in a fight, like a street fight. So it's a, I don't know, it's despair. That's the emotion that I think of, is just really just despair when I just couldn't figure out what I needed to do to change his behavior.
So I see a lot of women in a frustrated state with their boys. And it's either, like you said, I'm going to whoop them, I'm going to discipline them. But I feel like most of that be emotional responses more so than discipline them on their actions. Like I always tell people, like, you got to be consistent. Like I used to work in a juvenile detention center. First thing they taught us the first day, if you're going to do it, do it. Don't break your word.
Right.
Whether that's positive or negative. You know what I'm saying? But when you just keep, like, I think a lot of women, not to be overgeneralizing, nag a lot about things. And so nagging becomes prompts that don't mean anything.
Right.
And then when you really react to a situation, sometimes it's like, well, you've okayed it by prompting this whole time instead of just dealing with what they did when they did it. I talk to so many people who struggle with parenting teenage boys. At what point, like the point where you were like, you know what, you need to go live with your dad. What was that like, and how hard was it for you?
It's probably the hardest thing I did. Hardest thing I ever did was having to send him somewhere because it felt like failure on my part. And just back up real quick. Technically, I was a single mother, but was in this long-term relationship with this guy that was present and involved. But there were boundaries because they weren't his biological children. There were things that he was comfortable doing and things he was comfortable not doing because
he didn't want to whoop them.
They weren't his. Yeah. And, he also, his only exposure to, fatherhood was my children. We didn't have any together and he doesn't have any on his own. So he has relationships, from all the time we were together with my children. But there were just certain, boundaries. There were times that he would, peep something and versus saying it, he'd come and tell me. So that became a thing too, where it's like, well, if you see it, say something. And, it's like,
Were you, if he would have disciplined your children physically, would you have been okay with it?
That's tough because he never did it. There was a point that I wanted him to, only with the youngest, because I just felt so helpless. Like nothing that I was doing seemed to be working. And then that's where, as a woman, you feel like, well, they need a man or, a masculine figure. Maybe they would receive it better, from there. But honestly, he wasn't any better for going with his dad. He ended up coming back. No behaviors were changed or reversed. His dad had the same type of time with him that I did. And it just ultimately became, maturity. Like he just, at some point, just said, I'm off the bullshit. Like literally went to bed one night, woke up the next day, and was like, I'm cool. I don't know why I was doing all that stuff, but I ain't gonna do it no more. It was a true phase, he went through it. There doesn't seem to be, even in hindsight, any changes or things we could look at having done differently that would have changed it. It just was what he needed to go through.
Sometimes we be forgetting that we have our parenting styles, father, mother, but then we also got to remember life is an ultimate parent as well.
Absolutely.
Because I know I went through a rough phase during that time frame, and my mom didn't have nothing to do with my turnaround. It was my life outside the house that woke me up to a few things, and I changed my ways. And so, I think we forget about like school, their social life, what's going on with their friends, all of that stuff plays a role, and it's a strong role. But let's back up to a little bit, like to that part of in the relationship, and you wanted your significant other to have more presence. Did y'all ever have the conversation about disciplining your kids physically?
We did, and that just was a no for him. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to put my hands on somebody else's kids. I will help, and I will, speak my mind when I need to speak my mind and everything. But that just wasn't something he would have ever.
Was he against? Did he have kids of his own?
Mm-mm.
So he was against physical discipline. Period.
No.
No.
He just didn't want to put his hands on somebody else's kids. I didn't make them. Those are my kids. I'm not going to do it. I wouldn't want somebody doing it to mine.
Now,
so how much older am I? Well, it's only 4 years, but at that time in our lives, it felt like a bigger gap because he was 25 and I was 30, and he had no kids and I had 4, and I had been in a marriage for 10 years. So from a life standpoint, like my physical age and my actual living age, you could throw another 10, 15 years on my 44 just because of my life experiences and how young I was when I started my life as a wife and having kids. So it was just kind of different and drastic. I remember at one point, he was kind of like the rebound situation that just turned into this long-term relationship. He had no intention, I don't think, of being in anything long-term with me when we met. And it, kids may have played a part, just, how he operated in his life and how I operated in mine may have played a part, but we got together and just couldn't not be together.
Well, let me ask you this now.
Mm-hmm.
Who you are now, and let's say you have small children now.
Mm-hmm.
Would you demand that of your significant other to discipline your child? Like, I need you to be here just like I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
Or would you, abide by his wishes of not doing it?
So the physical aspect of discipline, I would respect. I would be okay because, like you said, people have different parenting styles. But if he's in it with me and I don't feel like I'm alone in whatever it is that we're doing, our approaches don't have to be the same. Like I know with my ex-husband, he was a disciplinarian in the physical, aspect of things, and it just wasn't something I had to do because he had that covered.
Well, let me ask you this, just in general, you as a Black woman, are you pro ass whooping?
Yes, absolutely. My daughter, now with my son, my oldest, she gave me problems. My baby gave me problems. A lot of the issues I had with my baby boy, she played a part in because she tried to play mother to him, and she didn't agree with my parenting style. And to this day with her children, she has 3 sons now. She is the most, she doesn't believe in that. She's not going to spank her kid. Total opposite of how I raised them. But that was some of the things she saw how I disciplined him, and she didn't like it.
What are your thoughts on this gentle parenting?
I just can't relate to it. I think I can't relate to it. I'm not going to say I'm against it. I think I probably have to see my grandsons as adults and, how they, prosper in life to see how I think that the way that they were raised shaped them. I think that it's, because a lot of the things that she says and does, I wish that I could have, like some of the stuff makes sense. Like, there's million memes on social media you come across and you read, but, some of them that say, how do you expect to yell at your kid in the morning and want them to have a, successful day at school when you just, some of it, like, I'm not against the gentle stuff, but there is, cause and effect. There has to be some consequences to things. So she has a very gentle parenting style, and I just think that her children have a freedom as young children that they didn't have and that I didn't have, and they just didn't, the whole, stay in a child's place, that doesn't seem to be the world we live in anymore because of a lot of those type of parenting styles and opinions on what you can and can't do with children.
But I feel like the gentle parenting has led to a generation of entitlement.
Absolutely.
And a lack of ambition, a lack of drive, a lack of focus, a lack of standing up and taking care of business in this whole generation. And it's like,
I agree. But the world is changing so much too.
That is.
Traditional jobs, traditional employment, traditional life plans, that we may have, 20 years ago said, this is my plan for my life, this is where I want to go. It truly is a different world. You can be somebody that never leaves your home and uses social media and a, platform like this, and, you get some success. So, someone with some more traditional goals like going and getting a degree or following this path, it's totally different.
But I also feel like even people who watch my show who think, I can do that, or I can be successful. I don't have to work this job. I can just do that. That actually is more damaging because it's like putting this production on is a lot of work, a lot of skill, a lot of know-how. And they just jump into it. I've seen people quit their jobs and try to become a content creator. I'm like, woman, you got like kids and mortgage and all, and then you in a stressful situation and all this stuff, and it's like the decision making of a weak mind. And I feel like that's a generational thing now.
And again, I think that it's a byproduct of the world we live in, where you see all these celebrities that do reality TV, and now I think that it's the accessibility to people, information, and just what people see, with maybe not people understanding the ratio of people that actually can go that path and the people that can't.
Before we wrap up, last question. If I gave you, if I allowed you to pick, let me back up. If I was to describe the perfect man for you, what would it be?
Shit. How? You can't possibly. I told you I don't have a type. I told you I don't know. I can maybe give you some attributes that I think could make.
Okay, just not the generic ones. Okay.
Okay. Someone who is a leader or can lead. Somebody that I could definitely feel comfortable following and not have to be a leader. I make a lot of decisions. I feel like I have to be a leader a lot in life, and it would be great for me not to have to be that way in a relationship. I definitely would like someone financially stable. Somebody kind. Somebody kind.
Because right now you're describing the crew chief at McDonald's, and his name is Derek, and he's a really nice guy. I can put y'all together in 2 hours.
I did not describe Derek.
That is Derek.
That is not Derek.
That is Derek. I'm gonna call Derek. So
Derek is not a leader.
Derek is. He's the crew chief.
Calvin.
No, Calvin was a crew member.
Oh, he wasn't.
Yes, he
manager. He was a manager at McDonald's.
He was not the. Yes, I know who Calvin was. He was not the manager. He was a crew member.
I said a kind man who is financially stable, who can be a leader.
He's a leader.
Who can make me laugh.
He can make you laugh by his check.